Guess to build on that, what would you say are some challenges that you faced in Nigeria that you think have improved in the industry? For example, like access to information, access to, resources. I know that you were fortunate to work with Dr. Panampasi Paul, but what are the challenges you think that were present at the time, and are those challenges still there, or do you think that they've made way for like newer solutions and stuff like that?
I think one of the biggest challenges back then was, like you said, for me, the biggest problem back then, challenge then, let me not say problem. The biggest challenge back then was information, access to information.
Mhm.
Some of us were fortunate to work with people like Dr. Madame Percy Paul. And apart from that, we're fortunate to have, resources to be able to get on the internet.
Mhm.
Because a lot of things that I learned back then was spending time on the internet and downloading a whole lot of notes, about mixing, about, voice, voice, vocal training, and what you have, all of those things. It wasn't cheap back then. 30 minutes would cost you about, I can't remember now, but it was hundreds of dollars, hundreds of naira.
Hundreds of naira. I think it was like 500 naira or something, or five to
Yeah,
700. Yes. Yeah.
exactly. So some of us are fortunate to have the resources to be able to spend time on the internet, So I was able to download notes like that. I still see some of the notes around, like, wow, these are the things we used to do back then.
Mhm.
There were no YouTube videos like we have them today.
True.
YouTube then was just people just playing around doing nothing serious.
Mhm.
So there was no information at all.
Yeah.
That has changed drastically now that you can go online and learn a whole lot of things about filmmaking. You can take a class on directing, on production, script
Mhm.
writing and all of that. So many sites like again, one of our alumnus, what's his name? Riot, Film Riot.
Mhm.
Um this guys, they call them, what's the name of these guys now? They do a lot about script writing. I can't remember when. Film Courage.
Okay.
So many other people, sites like that you can actually go to and just learn different things, aspects of
Yeah.
production and all of
Yeah.
that. So all of those things are available now because of the internet, the access that we have to the
Mhm.
internet in Nigeria.
Mhm.
When I talk to my guys, I always tell, I say, look, you cannot tell me that you can't do this because everything is on the internet.
True.
Everything is there. It was different back then.
Mhm.
Another thing is exposure. It was difficult to get your music out. Like, it was so hard. The
Mhm.
way my song got on Kiss FM back became number one until, what's his name? Onimisi came on one day and were like, hey, your song is number one. I'm like, are you serious? Like, yeah, I didn't even know. But the
Wow.
thing is, it was so difficult to have access to things like that because we didn't know what's going on. You're struggling, you're hustling, trying to get things out.
Mhm.
But somehow somebody would find it and then they'll play it and it gets to that point again. You didn't even know it was
Before
going
you know
on.
it. Yeah.
But exactly. But now you can just do a video and put it on YouTube before you know what's happening. It's amassed about millions of views. Why? Because that is another way to expose yourself.
Right.
The exposure is different these days. Like, it's all over the world. It's not just local, it's global.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever you do now, it goes everywhere. That was another challenge that we had then, but now it's completely different.
Mhm.
Financing, financing was a big deal. Like, it's a huge problem back then because equipments were very, very expensive back then. It wasn't like
Mhm.
they are now. Like, we're beginning to get out of the analog age in
Right.
Nigeria,
Right.
trying to get into the digital phase. But things were still expensive because computers were still expensive. And because it's not a lot of them, studios were still expensive.
True.
So
Mhm.
getting financing to do your music or to do videos and everything, I know how much we spent to do one video back then. It was crazy.
Wow.
But these days, with a DSLR camera, you can get even with the iPhone 13, 14, no 13, the
There's
iPhone 13 have
yes.
ProRes, yeah, it has
Mhm.
beautiful video quality. So these days, financing for
Mhm.
productions and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
but today actually we have, it's so difficult back, there's nobody interested. Our elders back then, they just see music as a waste of time.
Right.
You
Right.
need to go to school, which is okay. I agree, go to school, but at the same time, they want you to go to school, graduate, and get a job.
Right.
Some people want to go to school, graduate, and do music, but it becomes day. Look at that. Look at what's going
Right.
the people $500 million for the creative industry. Five
Yeah.
hundred million naira, I'm sorry,
$500
for the
million.
creative industry.
Yeah.
So so it's a new world. Is literally a new world. Like things have changed, and the growth that has enabled the industry to grow to a level that you can't even imagine.
That's true.
And I look forward to more growth, yeah, in the industry.
Awesome. Awesome. That is really great. So I was going to ask you if these challenges were the reason why you switched to film, but thank you for your introduction because that just told me that, that was not the case. These were things that had intended to do, you set out to do, and you said you're going to do them and you did them. That is actually very, very admirable. I know we've discussed some things that you've talked about, like traits and, disciplines that you learn from others, but are there other, like, what is your process for training and bettering yourself? Are you I budget like an hour a day to do this? And, what do you do in those times when you're like, okay, this is the time to grow and improve? Because a lot of times it's not just talent is not enough. You have to also like build your skill. So what are the things that you do personally to do that?
So for me, it's mostly studying. Um, it could be studying by watching,
Hmm.
videos, or studying by reading books, and then putting those into practice.
Hmm.
So for instance, I watch a lot of master classes, and for me, I choose I choose those. So for instance, I watch Shonda Rhimes. I love Shonda Rhimes,
Yes, she is.
and yeah, yeah. So I will watch anything she has. So I have an account on master classes. I watch her master class. I watch Aaron Sorkin. I,
Hmm.
I watch was it Ron Howard? I watch Scorsese. So
Right.
I just take my time to watch and look at their processes and see, okay, what have they done that helped them,
Hmm.
in whatever they're doing.
Hmm.
And so learning through that, and again, I call, YouTube channels like Film Riot,
Right.
um, Film Courage.
Hmm.
Um, I go to, when it comes to sound for film, I go to Sound Device, their
Right.
channel.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I love the equipment. That's what I use for my sound. So I love the equipment.
Hmm.
So I go there and watch. I just try to learn as much as I can. I go on YouTube and watch people have done it before and just immerse as much as I can knowledge from them, and
Right.
then turn around and put it into practice and see, okay, how does it work? Is this possible? Can I do this and all of that? And then in the process of learning, I'm learning new things when I'm putting theirs into practice.
Hmm.
I'm learning processes that will also help me, that works for me, not just what they're doing, but I look at them and then take that and then create my own process
Right.
that works for me. So
Right.
personally, I always keep working. Like I just keep working. I will record and sit down and edit. So like you said, I take a few hours a day. At night, I don't drink. I don't go to parties. I don't go to clubs. So for
Amen.
me, this yeah, this is fun for me. So I'll sit down
Yeah.
here and just keep creating. I write and throw it away, or whatever I record. I try to,
Mhm.
work on it. I pick up my guitar, sit down and play. So I try to at least do something creative, at least something small a day,
Right.
to help process, to help me grow.
Mhm.
And then one of the most important things is to make sure that I am, connected with the industry so I can learn the new equipments, new systems
Mhm.
and new things that are being released into the market. Okay, how can that help me?
Mhm.
How can I use this and stuff like that in the process? Because I don't want to wake up in the morning and I'm still here and everything is
Right.
gone by me. So
Right.
yeah, yeah. So those are the things that I do. Basically, I spend my time almost in this studio. Like I even sleep here most of the time. I
Mhm.
sleep on my couch, wake up and just keep working.
Yeah.
So it's just the process. That's the process for me. This is my life. I don't step out and do anything outside.
Amazing. Amazing. That is really amazing. So immerse yourself and be
Yeah.
innovative. Yes.